All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol SNDL, Sundial Growers Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all the first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to the channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all the subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So in the previous video, I talked about, we want to be aware of the upcoming catalyst towards the end of the month. And some people started stating, hey, the inauguration is towards the end of the month. That could be a catalyst, but we do have another catalyst to watch for moving into this next week, and that's the 6th, which is a big deal as well. I kind of overlooked it, so I'm actually thankful for those of you that talked about it in the comments down below. That is a reasonable statement, and here we are seeing the catalyst start to form. Now, if this leads into tomorrow, leading into the 6th, and it starts having a pullback around the 6th or after the 6th, then those of you that commented down below, and I'm going to be honest, I overlooked that one catalyst that could happen. You guys are truly correct, and it did have some indirect or direct influence on the stock price. Now, we are seeing some anticipation here because there's a lot of loading up and very little selling. So I think that some of the investors that are bullish are getting in on more positions, and new investors are coming in preparing for the run. So we want to watch carefully how much longer this goes, because like we talked about in the previous video, there were people on the way down here and even on the way up on this second jump getting in around here. So you could see how fast every time it ends up around this price point, which is around anywhere from like 50 cents to 60 cents, the pullback starts and it starts to fall. Due to the fact that anybody that got in here or anyone that has gone in here, or any of these peaks, right, are profit taking right away. You could see that, especially in this last one. You can definitely see how fast it started to fall. Now, this one will definitely tell us if a catalyst will be leading into the 6th and if there'll be some sell-off after it, or will the catalyst last throughout most of the month and there'll be some consolidation. Because when you think about it, the catalyst can lead into the 6th and start to fall somewhere around the middle of next week. It can start forming the catalyst, or the beginning of that 1 week, which is the 3rd week here, leading into the inauguration, according to what party or elect president or previous president comes in. I mean, we still have a lot of uncertainty to go through, and I don't want to get into that whole scenario because that's now politics. We're here to focus in on these, these stocks and these charts, but there's some indirect effect with politics on what's going on with this chart. We've seen it before. We've talked about it in previous videos, but very interesting that the catalyst is forming. I want to see if this pulls back. If this pulls back right away, we're seeing the same effect. People getting out, either cutting their losses at a much more minimal amount. Instead of pulling out here and losing more, they're losing less, or breaking even. So if this holds up like it should, to have some momentum, then the people that were trying to get their money back or break even, or some of them are just stating, you know what, I'm going to hold this one and see where it goes. It's going to hold this up. If this collapses pretty fast, that's something we need to keep an eye on, because if not, we're going into the same pattern of day trading and swing trading this, and there's no true hold up of the momentum here, and the bulls are trying their best to bring it up, and it just keeps on getting torn down. So we're going to see how this does tomorrow, how it does leading into Wednesday, and definitely I believe there will be some pullback after Wednesday. If there isn't, then this is all anticipating for the catalyst towards the end of the month, and the catalyst will be a long month type of thing, obviously with the volatility of the market, ups and downs, but something to definitely watch for. This has done really well at holding itself up from the 45, 46 cent range. It tears through it, it breaks right back up through it, and so forth in a tug-of-war fashion. And I've actually have stated that to be very interesting and a pretty decent sign of things holding together here. and specifically not breaking through the 42-cent range because of the fact that there's investors that are holding long and they've gotten in before, or they're just holding because they believe in this stock and they feel real bullish about it. So that was a pretty good sign that it didn't break any lower and it held itself up pretty well. So we need to watch this. This is a spectacular run here, right, of almost 10 cents at its peak. And we want to see how this is going to react moving forward. So we have some things to see here. I want us to see our resistance. I want us to see our 50-day moving average. And we have 2 support levels to watch. I'm going to narrow this in as close as possible, right? And this is not really a support level per se, but it is a point of reference to use. And we're going to look at some things here. So the 50-day moving average is 48.69. I'd write that down. As long as we're above that, we're in bullish territory. The moment we're below that, we're in bearish territory. So I want every single investor to be aware of this and pay close attention to this. All right, 48.69. That's our 50-day moving average. Now, our support here, which is the first one I'm using, is 53.51. We're currently at 54 cents at the market price. Now, 53.51, if it gets broken through, this could be on its way down to newer lows, newer support levels, and pulling deeper down closer to the 50-day moving average, because we're already in bullish territory, and the deeper down it goes, the closer it gets to the 50-day moving average to get into bearish territory. So I want every single investor to be aware of this and pay very close attention to this. Dissect this chart as much as possible. Now, you have a huge window between 53.51 all the way to the 50-day moving average to see what's going on. So you have another point of reference here that I would personally use, and that is right at this point right here. This is your happy medium, as I call it, and that's 51.28. You want to see how it's doing between this point up here at the 53 cent range all the way down to 51.28. How quickly is it moving to newer lows? Are the bulls trying to reappear before it crosses this, or are the bears getting closer to the 50-day moving average? Then you have between 51.28 and the 50-day moving average to see how this stock is reacting, and are the bears tearing this down fairly fast, or are the bulls trying to reappear and bring this back up? It's super important to watch the behavior between these layers and these points, because anywhere in the downward direction does not mean that the bears have gained control, but the bulls will be losing traction, and it will become much more difficult for them to cross the resistance level. This is the most important point for the bulls. That's 56.09. They need to cross this, turn this into a support, break away from it, reach newer highs, and get away from the 50-day moving average as much as possible to get deeper into bullish territory. Now, if they cross 56.09, their next resistance level would be up here at this point of 56.86, which is nearly 57 cents. And then the next high would be up here at 60 cents. That would be their next true goal. Once they cross 60 cents, they have much more resistance levels to work their way up to, reach newer highs, new resistance levels, and get deeper into bullish territory. So we want to watch these numbers closely. But for right now, 56.09 needs to be crossed by the bulls, turn into a support so they can pull up to reach newer resistance levels. As always, if you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watch this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.